what I love and what I've realized these last, 5 or 6 years in business as I started to intertwine more feminine is actually when I've learned to trust myself, when I learned to tap into my intuition, into my body, into movement, that I have all the answers. Everything I need is already within me. Mm-hmm. And my energy is what attracts opportunities. Mm-hmm. It's not the doing. I could be doing anything. I could be doing this business model or this business model or a product business model, but it's how I'm showing up and who I'm being behind what I'm doing is what really attracts the opportunity.
Welcome to Glow Up Boss, the business school for beauty entrepreneurs. Having trained over 8,000 women to build and run profitable beauty businesses, I'm here to share knowledge and skills to put you on the fast track to grow your business and glow up your life. I'm your host, Veronique Munro. With 20 years experience as a product developer, celebrity spray tan artist, and founder of multiple Sunless tanning companies, I've launched products and methods that have become today's industry standard. This podcast is where you will learn what you need to build your business from the ground up. You'll hear from industry experts on how to build a thriving customer base, grow revenue, buy back your time, and create the freedom to live life on your terms. It's time to discover the boss within you. Get ready to glow up. Welcome to Glow Up Boss, your one-stop shop for all things business for the beauty industry. Well, today I'm making an exception. Normally, I like to bring on ladies in the beauty industry, ladies that have their own sunless tanning brands or skincare lines or hairdressers, spa owners. But this woman is extraordinary. This woman is known as the fitness queen. Her name is Felicia Romero, and she is a local fitness go-to who went to Arizona State where she played softball. She has her master's degree in exercise and wellness from the university. She's an 8-time fitness cover model, including Oxygen Magazine, Muscle and Fitness, Hers, and Flex Magazine. She opened up her first gym at 22 years old and over the years has built and run gyms until 2 years ago when she sold Fit Method to create more time freedom in her life and build her online business to help people all around the nation. She has had stints on reality TV, local and national TV, and with her most recent reality TV experience on Fit to Fat to Fit that aired on Lifetime, where she had to gain and lose weight for her sister who lost over 80 pounds in the process. She also is a regular on Fox 10 News, Arizona Family, CBS, and NBC. Today, Felicia is a real estate investor and franchise partner with Ohm Fitness and host of Hi Felicia podcast. So no longer Bye Felicia, we're Hi Felicia
Hi
today.
Felicia here, yes.
So I'm super excited to present Felicia Romero to you. Thank you so much for coming, Felicia. I know that was a lot. That was a whole page worth of stuff there, but you're quite amazing and accomplished.
Thank you so much. I always think back at the different, because I'm 42 now, and I don't know about you, but as we get older, we look back at the different phases we've had in our lives and all the different pivots. And I'm like, oh, wow. Oh, cool. I remember I did that too, or I remember that phase of my life. So as you were reading that, I was like, oh yeah, I remember that. I remember my very first Flex Magazine swimsuit cover. I was terrified. I was 24 years old and I hid in the bathroom thinking I wasn't good enough. My body wasn't good enough and terrified of just being in front of a camera and a bunch of people staring at me. So I remember that feeling so vivid. But yeah, thank you. I'm so excited to be here.
Well, awesome. Mm-hmm. So tell me how you got started in the world of fitness. It's such an amazing, I mean, you've done TV, you've done magazines, you now have your own podcast, you've owned fitness centers. Now you're part of Ohm, which is incredible. I've been there. It's amazing. So
you have been there.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, amazing. Yeah. Well, I would love to invite you out to my facility in Gilbert and to give it a try and do all the fun things and maybe even can get some content. But I have always been involved in fitness. I was an athlete growing up. I played softball and volleyball. My family's very athletic, and my mom got me in sports fairly young. But I didn't get into competitive fitness until my early 20s. And so I had just retired from softball. I played at Arizona State, and I wanted a new goal. I wanted something to work towards. And I remember I was in the gym. And during this time, I was already training people. So while I was going to school, I decided to get certified and start training people out of my garage, surprisingly enough, because it allowed me to go to school, but also make my own schedule. Little did I know I would completely fall in love. And the track that I was on, which was law at the time, I would completely pivot and make a shift. And it was down the fitness route. So yeah, opened up my first gym at the ripe old age of 22. No idea what I was doing. And I like to think that back then it was my naivete that sort of got me through, because I didn't know what I didn't know. I just had this vision and I'm like, we're going to do it. And there was no social media. And I just had this dream and this vision to do these things that I really love to do. And it just sort of paved the way for years in the fitness world with all different opportunities. And so I'm a big believer in action. And when you take an action, there's always a reaction, obviously, but action creates momentum, which then creates opportunity. So every road I went down, whatever action I took, it created momentum in that space. So yeah.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
So what was it like for you opening your very first studio?
Oh my gosh. I think back, because now I'm older and now I'm a new franchise partner in a new fitness concept after being out of the game for about 7 years. And it's so weird coming back at this age because, I don't know if you've ever asked yourself this, but have you ever told yourself, gosh, I wish I knew back then what I know now?
Yes, but I'm also glad I didn't.
Yes, right? Right. And I only say this because what I know now, what I wish I knew back then, because a lot of the things that I went through, I thought that I had to suffer and that I had to push really hard beyond, my mental health, my physical health in order to attain a goal, right? Now, I'm a believer of hard work. I'm sure you wouldn't have what you have now if you didn't work hard for it. But I also believe in self-care. I believe in delegation. I believe in sort of intertwining that feminine energy of being, right? And so I didn't know all of that back then. And so, getting into the gym world at that age, I just had this vision. And, I'm a big believer as well. There are no coincidences in life. And I was meant to meet certain people along my path that set me up and allowed me to see what was possible. And during that time, I had a partner who was a gym manager, and he sort of opened my eyes to the idea of, you could train people while you go to school. And again, no coincidences. It just sort of paved the way again for my path. You meet these people in life that excel and push you in a certain direction. And so when I opened up my first gym, little did I know that over the course of 15 years, I would open up 3 gyms and sell them. But I just kept, my eyes on the prize, and I just kept moving forward. And so, but now, I mentioned this now, I wish I knew that, what I know now, I'm a little bit more hesitant to risk. I think about it a little bit more logically versus this big dreamer. And sometimes I think, gosh, I wish I still had a little bit of that risk taker Felicia in me. But, after going through failure, because I do believe failure is part of success, I'm a little bit more hesitant about business partnerships, about, paperwork I sign, like operating agreements, getting lawyers to look at documents, and, making sure that all the I's are, crossed and I's dotted, T's crossed before I make any sort of big decision financially. So, but yeah, that's sort of been my journey.
I so understand where you're coming from. When I first started my company almost 20 years ago, I actually took out a line of credit on my condo in West Hollywood. Yeah. Didn't think twice.
Yeah.
Didn't think twice. But if I had to take out a line of credit on any of my properties today, no thanks.
Yeah, right.
Not doing it.
Right.
Especially with interest rates today.
Interest rates. And sometimes we're just at different stages. That's why sometimes for me and, being in the fitness world, you hear some of these notions of these people who, especially trainers, go online saying anyone can do this. You get up early, get your walk, get your workout in, but they're not taking into regard people with families. Maybe moms that are single moms that are working 2 jobs, we have to really take all of that into account. And sometimes we're just at different stages in life where we may not be able to do those things, right? And so living as, as I'm getting older and now I'm 42, I know we talked about age a little bit ago. I think about those things before I promote something or before I talk about something. And so, yeah.
I think that's the thing too, though, is like having your own business really just gives you the opportunity to create life on your own terms. And that's really what this podcast is geared toward, is helping the young female entrepreneur or the female entrepreneur, no matter what your age is. I work with a lot of women that are either in college or never went to college, or attorneys, accountants that just wanted to buy back their lives and do something that they could be passionate about, create their own hours and just follow their dreams. Maybe they had parents that were attorneys and pushed them to go into law school. And, they practiced for a few years and then decided that that just wasn't for them, or just completely ended up burning themselves out. Like, I don't know about you, but when I started my business, self-care was not a thing, right?
Oh, yeah.
Americans in general, we're taught the harder you work, the further you go. This is the land of opportunity. So we think, oh my God, well, I don't need to sleep. I don't need to eat. All I need to do is like bust my butt and I'm going to like make it, which is true.
Yeah.
But you burn yourself out in the process. But we know better now, don't we?
We totally know better. I mean, you're speaking to the girl that literally wore Team No Sleep like a badge of honor. Like that, like I was proud of the fact that like I only got 4 hours of sleep last night because I worked and I did, and so I experienced burnout more than once, and I totally relate to that.
And it's hard. It's hard to come back from burnout.
It is. And what's even more difficult as well is when you are experiencing burnout, you start to doubt whether what you're doing in life and what you're going after is in alignment with who you want to be and what you want to create. And so there's that fine line of like, oh, wow, am I burned out? Is there a different way to do this business model or this thing that I'm doing? Or is it truly like I'm not aligned anymore? And we have to be, that's why I'm all for taking time away, doing retreats, gathering with women, because I do feel like that time away allows you to really catch your breath and figure out what is an alignment for you. And is it really burnout, or do I just need a different way of doing things? Do I need to change my business model? Do I need to change my team? Do I need to have a team? Like, it's all these questions we get to ask to ourselves when we kind of like take a moment back.
And you know what? I think also we discover that we have different seasons. What may have been right for us in our 20s or 30s aren't right for us in our 40s or 50s or wherever we are in life. I mean, I know today as a business owner, I want things different today than I did when I first started. I want to be surrounded by different types of people. I want my days to look differently now than I did back then.
Yeah, same. I love that. I love that reminder of honor the season that you're in, because so often, maybe you're a woman listening to this right now, you might be comparing yourself to someone else's season or chapter and, feeling bad because you're not where she is or he is.
That speaks to me so much right now. You have no idea.
Yeah. And that's where I'm like, hey, like right now you might be in the stage where you want to give your all to your babies, right? And that's just the season you're in. You might be in the rocket ship stage where you are just trying to get your business off the ground. Or you might be the woman that has been in business for 20 years and trying to figure out systems and how to scale. Like, it's different for everyone. And so that's why I think, when I first started my business, back in like the early 2000s in the fitness world, I didn't have social media to compare to. And I'm almost thankful for that because I was able to really stay true to my vision and not see what everyone else is doing, because now it's so prevalent, right? It's so prevalent in what we're seeing online.
It's true. And it's like a double-edged sword, really, isn't it? It's great because you can actually learn about the industry that you're in because you get access to like all your competitors. So you can see what's trending. You can see what the pain points are of their customers. But at the same time, you inevitably will compare yourself to them. I've literally had to block my competitors to not see what they're doing.
Yeah, that's the question I was just going to ask you. So you're relating with that question right now, or that feeling of like not comparing yourself to someone else's chapter. What are you currently going through? So is it like you got to block the competitors?
I have had to do that. I don't need to now because they're already blocked. No,
Yeah.
But there was a period because like you, when I started my business, there wasn't social media.
Yeah.
I had an idea. I had a vision because when I started, sunless tanning wasn't an industry.
Right.
So I launched, one of the very first handheld spray tanning devices, one of the first HVLP systems. And people thought it was a trend at the time. So I started teaching women how to start, run, and grow spray tanning businesses. So there wasn't a lot of competition out there.
Yeah.
I was on TV. I did a lot of television shows. I worked with a lot of celebrities.
Yeah.
We did traditional PR. So we were in magazines. There wasn't the social media. I don't even have videos or photos of myself from back then or any of the celebrities that I worked with or me with the celebrities or them with the equipment or products, just because that wasn't really the thing. But now we if you're not on social, you don't exist.
Right. Absolutely.
Right. So it's a really, really different time.
Yeah.
The opportunity now to go further faster is much more prominent than it was back when we started our businesses.
Absolutely.
Back when we started, it was the grind.
Yeah.
You had to work hard because if you didn't put in the, in the grit, the time, the blood, sweat, and tears, you didn't get far.
For sure. And you had to hit the ground running, like literally be out there talking to people because you didn't have the social media to do it.
100%.
I'm interested because I actually when I went through my healing so I went through a period of time when I was done competing and I had gone through a bad partnership where I actually had to block a lot of the things and not because I disliked these people. It was more because it just affected my energy. Yeah. And so I had to block what I was seeing. I'm interested with you. Is it like a trigger or is it is it affecting your energy? What's something you're going through that someone could experience? I'm all interviewing you now, but I'm truly interested in how you're feeling.
Well, I'll tell you honestly. Yeah. First of all, I'm not in my 20s or 30s anymore. I'm 57 years old. Right. So now, my competitors are now girls that are in their 20s and 30s. Right. So already, I'm seeing my competition coming up. They're younger, they're more energetic, they're more savvy with social media, they're better engaged with the influencers because they're all around the same age group. So I can't compare myself with them. I'm at a different level. I'm a seasoned businesswoman, but I feel like I'm in my 20s and 30s. So it's natural to want to compare yourself. Yeah. But it's not natural because we're at a different stage in our life. Yeah, right? So true. They're just starting out. They're on an upward trajectory. Yeah. I'm at a stage of my life where I want to be able to enjoy my life, enjoy the fruits of my labor, enjoy my homes, enjoy my finances, enjoy the time that I created for myself. I started my business to create a life that I wanted to live, to be with my dog at the time, to travel when I wanted to, to have the freedom that I wanted to have. Wow. So why would I pay attention to my competitors who are young that are just starting out in their careers and think, oh my goodness, they're working with these people. Yeah. They're doing all those things when I've already been there, done that, got the award. In fact, a lot of these women are my clients now. Yeah, absolutely. I relate with that so much. So that's why I had to go, you need to take a check. Yeah. Stop looking at this because it also affects, I develop product. And I don't want to be fettered by what other people are doing. I want it to come from within me. I have a lot of experience. I've traveled a lot. A lot of what I do is inspired by the fashion industry, the beauty industry, world travel. And I don't want to be affected by what other people are doing. I want it to come from me. Now, if someone comes to me with a concept and they want to deliver that and they want me to help them bring that product to market, I'm happy to do that. But I don't want to be affected by what I see other people doing already. Oh, so relatable. Glow Up Boss podcast is brought to you today by Infinity Sun. Are you an entrepreneur thinking that you'd like to start a new business that's fun, that doesn't cost a lot of money to start up, that you could do in the evenings and weekends and earn lots and lots of money? Starting a spray tanning business definitely checks off all those boxes. With state-of-the-art plug-and-spray proprietary spray tanning systems that require only one solution, you can literally choose 30 different levels of spray on the spray tanning system itself. Infinity Sun offers Sunless tanning solutions that combine high-end skincare together with sunless tanning technology to not only create the most flawless looking tans, but also to improve the condition of the skin.
I went through similar experiences too, as someone who has been in the fitness world for so long, and being a coach and being a trainer and helping people, and, having my experience, like even with organic media and traditional media like magazines for years, only to these last few years just be trumped by, these girls that are so good on social media that have now millions of followers that are making so much money in the online space. Now, I'm so grateful that I have other streams of income, but I didn't jump on that when those girls did, right? Because I was busy running a business, running a gym.
100%. That's exactly what I did.
And so it's like I
call it ostriching. I was ostriching while they were on social.
And they built their community. I was like, oh my gosh, I wonder if I could have millions of followers right now. But I was busy building this business. And so I'm right there with you. And then a lot of these younger girls, not that they can't, train people and help people, but a lot of them, unfortunately, they just look really great. Yeah. And they're online and they're telling people how to eat and train because they look good, know? And so I do have a little bit of issue with that too. And there's that's where I think a lot of the diet culture mentality started to grow and build in the online space, and a lot of unhealthy mindsets around eating and disordered eating and all of the things started to pop up. So I'm right there with you. I totally relate.
Are you also an educator? Do you also teach women how to become trainers? Is that something that you do as well?
I don't. I'm more so ever since selling my last gym in the end of 2017, early 2018, I migrated to the online space because I saw the opportunity there. I wanted my time freedom. I got really tired of just the brick and mortar and the delegation. Again, what I know now, I wish I knew back then, because I wasn't a great manager. I was good at micromanaging myself. I was good at building my own brand, but it was really hard for me to delegate with a team. And I think I needed that experience and that time to build. But I migrated to the online space, and I help other fitness coaches build their online brand. Okay. So being able to build systems and build programs to be able to sell online for more time freedom. Basically why I got into the online space, right? To be able to, make money, but spend my time how I wanted. I have a stepson, a husband, my dogs. I wanted to be home with them. So I wanted to be able to, basically buy my time back, because we have, there's two types of currency: money and time, right? And so people will either spend money on mentors to get their time back, or they'll spend time in order to learn how to do the thing. And so for me, I wanted to buy back my time, and that was really, really important for me. Yeah.
I really see a lot of parallels in where we are. Yeah. Right now, somebody said this to me and it really resonated. They said that I am the matriarch of the sunless tanning industry. So you're kind of like that. You're like the matriarch in the fitness industry, in effect. Yeah. I help women start, run, and grow spray tanning businesses, or, launch their own line of skincare and sunless tanning products. And you kind of do that in the fitness industry.
Yeah, absolutely. So, 9 times out of 10, a woman is jumping into my DMs asking me, gosh, Felicia, I don't want to trade time for money anymore. How do you build online? How do you do this? And that's where the mentorship comes in.
Yeah. That's amazing. Now, do you have an online course as well?
I did. I recently shut it off, mainly because this is brand new, but I'm a brand new investor in a franchise, Om Fitness. And so that literally happened in the last month and a half, 2 months. So I knew that was going to take some more time and energy as being a stake owner, and then also focusing on 2 other locations. So a total of 3 locations happening next year, 2 more locations. So 3 total. And so I knew that was going to take some more time and energy. I also know that I'm so confident, and I feel the passion when it comes to building a culture and a community in a boutique gym like this. And so I decided to shut down some of my courses, but I do still host retreats. Like Friday, I'm hosting a mastermind for women in the community that are all business owners, all different types of business owners, 6- and 7-figure business owners, where we can get together and mastermind and do some movement, somatic movement, because I love when we get into our bodies.
Oh my God. We are so disengaged from our bodies as women in business.
Right?
Seriously,
Right?
we're so in our heads, we forget we even have bodies.
Right.
I love that you're doing that.
Yeah. And so like the first half of the day, we're doing something called a release method with my friend Jacqueline Renee. She comes in and we're doing like somatic movement, getting in our bodies, getting really aligned with what we want to create in the new year, where we want our business to be, what we want to feel. Because the way that I look at it, and hopefully I don't, turn anyone away on this topic, but like I'm a believer in like the intertwining of the masculine and the feminine energy. And when I use masculine, feminine, I'm not talking about gender stereotypes. I'm talking about a way of being, a type of energy. And so we need both in order to, especially women in business. And for a lot of business, especially those that are in that like go, 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 toxic hustle, we forget about our feminine. We forget about the surrender, the trust, the flow. And we get into the do, and the implement and the action. And so what I love and what I've realized these last, 5 or 6 years in business as I started to intertwine more feminine is actually when I've learned to trust myself, when I learned to tap into my intuition, into my body, into movement, that I have all the answers. Everything I need is already within me. And my energy is what attracts opportunities. It's not the doing. I could be doing anything. I could be doing this business model or this business model or a product business model. But it's how I'm showing up and who I'm being behind what I'm doing is what really attracts the opportunity. And I teach women how to do that at these retreats.
Oh, I so need you.
Yeah, it's so fun. It is the funnest. And because we get it so in our heads. We get so in our heads. And gosh, there is so much magic that happens when we get into some somatic practices and different modalities like breath work or sound healing or, any one of those things. And that's when like we get really clear on how we want to move forward. I have seen women like literally solve so many problems and things that they were going through just by getting into their bodies.
I love that.
Yeah.
So tell our listeners a little bit about OM. I think it's such an amazing concept for fitness.
It is great. Now, I love OM Fitness. It's a totally different concept. I will always be a traditional workout girl. Like I love lifting weights. I love lifting heavy weights. But I have noticed as I've gotten older, I can't work out. You're going to work out differently in your 40s, your 50s, your 60s than you did in your 20s, your 30s. And I don't really care to like have like the fastest sprint time or like to do, 50 burpees in less than a minute. And I found that because I used to have thyroid issues and some hormonal issues that actually hurt me, not help me. And so what I love about OM and EMS technology, and EMS stands for electromuscle stimulation. What I love about it is it's involuntarily contracting your body, 80-90% of your body with a special suit called an Empower suit. The workout is only 25 minutes. It's low impact, but I get the same effects of a high intensity workout without the high impact of it, right? And so like when you think of an Orange Theory class, which is great, by the way, if you love Orange Theory, but the running and the hard impact on your joints and things like that, especially for me who dealt with thyroid issues for years, I was only hurting myself, not helping myself. And so what I found with the EMS technology, it's just better with time management, more efficient. It's a 25-minute workout. I'm hitting all major muscle groups. You're getting the resistance training in a 25-minute session, especially when the core, it's equivalent to 10 to 15,000, crunches. So I just found that it's a lot more effective for me as a woman getting older, and it's effective for people who are really short on time and need their time back, but want to get in a great workout. So I love it. And also within OM, we also are big advocates of red light therapy. So I have seen amazing things happen with red light therapy, from decrease of inflammation, pain. I used to get a lot of wrist pain from like planks, and a couple days in the red light, pain completely goes away. My mom joined. She's been a member. She has really bad knee pain from pickleball. I got her into pickleball, and she just like, oh, Felicia, you got me into pickleball. And now she gets really competitive and wants to play all the time, but she hurt herself. She does some red light therapy, and it is completely helping all of those areas that have been injured. It's not so much so where she needs surgery, but it's really sore and it's painful. And she's been able to do the low impact workouts, and it's been really good for her. So
there are thousands of homeless dogs in the pounds and shelters and running all over the streets, and not enough people out there to help them. Sprays for Strays is a fundraising organization that raises money through the sunless tanning and beauty industry to help all the rescues all over the United States of America pull the dogs out of the pounds and shelters, get them vetted, get their vaccinations, get them spayed and neutered, help with any sort of behavioral issues, and help to get them into their forever homes. Go to spraysforstrays.com and become a member or donate. Every little bit of support helps. Thank you to our sponsor, Sprays for Strays, for helping to save the lives of dogs, one spray tan at a time. See, I can, being my age, I suffer a lot of degenerative spine issues. Like herniated discs, spinal stenosis, and I can tell you, red light therapy saves me. I literally have 3 machines at my house. I do it at home. That and far infrared saunas. I don't know what I would do without them.
Right.
But the EMS, I think that, I actually started working on developing 2 EMS systems 20 years ago.
Really?
Yeah.
Amazing.
I abandoned it because I got so busy with the spray tanning technology. So to see that incorporated into fitness is just such an original idea.
It's amazing. I credit the founder. The founder actually lives here, and he is also behind the franchise push with Massage Envy, European Wax Center, Orange Theory. So these guys really know what they're doing. EMS technology is a lot more common in Europe, and it's starting to make its way here. So if you've ever been to like a med spa, you can get like EMS technology and sculpting done on your face. They even have EMS technology for like body contouring and different things in different med spas.
M-Sculpt.
M-Sculpt. So it's like, it is definitely starting to become more prevalent, and I'm a big advocate. I have seen amazing changes just in my body, and like even the tightening of my skin. So like my quads, for instance, my legs, top of my legs, I started to notice just like a little kind of like a wrinkly film on the top of my legs. And I work out, almost every day, whether it's a walk or more intense movement. And with the EMS technology, I've noticed my skin is starting to tighten, and my legs are starting to tighten. We are running a challenge right now, and one of the gals, I love her. Her name's Laura Ann. She's 54, and we got her on a Staiku body scan. It's been about 3.5, almost 4 weeks, and she's down 2.5% body fat.
Wow.
And it's been like less than a month, and so it's pretty amazing.
I love that. That's awesome.
Yeah.
So I normally end my podcast with 3 things that a woman or a person in business can do to move their business forward. I think because we focus so much on taking care of the self, the things that we know today that we maybe wish we would have known when we started out. Give me 3 things that you would recommend for our listeners to go do to like move themselves forward? Because most of the women that listen to this podcast are, entrepreneurs or thinking of, a life of entrepreneurship. Maybe they just started their business or they're looking to scale and grow. So let's think of that.
Such a good question. Okay. First one, so good. Okay. Number 1, create a community based on where you're going and not where you currently are.
Okay.
And the reason I say that is because we get so comfortable, and I'm not saying ditch your girlfriends, don't ditch your girlfriends, but yes, have your girlfriends, but like create a community with women that are going where you're going, because you have to see evidence that what you want to create and where you want to go is possible. Okay. So that's number 1. Number 2, I'm an advocate for mentorship, whether it's, hiring a mentor or joining a mastermind. Again, this is the common theme in my world. It's community, being around people, because I do believe energy speaks for itself. And when you are around that type of energy, it's only going to make you better, right? This is a quick story, but I remember in junior high, I was on the volleyball team, and my mom's super athletic. I was a good player, but I wasn't first team. I was second team in 7th grade. And then after the season was done, my mom was like, I have a competitive mom. She's like, Felicia, I don't want to see you sit the bench anymore. What can we do? Do you want to start next year? I remember her having this conversation with me. And I was like, yes, Mom, I want to start. She's like, okay, I'm going to sign you up for one of the best teams here in Arizona. But that means you're probably going to be the worst on the team. but you're going to be around girls that are far better than you. Now, these girls I played with all ended up going to college to play, volleyball. I was never tall enough, so I never, went forward with that sport. But so I was like, yes, Mom, I want to play. So she went and signed me up. I was terrified. I was around these girls that have all been playing with each other that were so good. I was literally the worst on the team, but I got better. And I played with women that were better than me. And that next year, I ended up making the team, and I was first team, and I was MVP that next year. So you have to put yourself in a place where people are doing better than you, so to say, and see that energy and feel that energy. And then my third recommendation is I want you to, especially if you want to grow, sometimes we have to retreat. Okay. So what I mean by that, I want you to think about this scenario of you are the bow and arrow. And you're the arrow, and I want you to pull yourself back. Now, in order to propel forward, we have to pull ourselves back. And that could be taking some time to really figure out your goals and where it is that you want to be. It's asking yourself some really tough questions. It's journaling, getting curious. And oftentimes when we pull ourselves back, what happens when you let go of that arrow? It propels forward. So I always say, take the time to get really clear. And the way that I do that every quarter, I get really clear on my core values. And it's usually around the same every 3 months. It's been constant for about a year. It's community, connection, fun, wealth, and I want to say wellness. So because wellness is a big part of my life. Community and connection. I continue to create, amazing retreats and events for women, whether it's high ticket or low ticket, that bring people together. And that stays true to my core value. Having fun. I'm part of a pickleball league. I have fun with my girlfriends. Like I make sure to schedule fun as part of my core value. Wealth is a big, not just making money, but like my husband and I are real estate investors. So we just invested in a 6th property. And so like, how can I organize my life to where I am creating legacy wealth, And so, and then wellness, wellness is a big part of that. So start creating your goals based around those core values and your life will change.
Those are awesome.
Yeah.
That's gold.
Yeah.
So how can our listeners find you and how can they work with you?
Absolutely. So I hang out over on Instagram. So at Felicia Romero, just my first and last name, my podcast, the Hi Felicia podcast. I also have a website, FeliciaRomero.com. And then there's forums there. So there's ways to get a hold of me. In my bio, you can fill out a little intake sheet. And I'm super active over there. So you can DM me and ask me questions. I'm super accessible there. So yeah.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for joining us today. It was so nice meeting you. And I can't wait to go on one of your retreats. It sounds so amazing.
It's going to be so fun. I know. I'll definitely have some in the spring. So
awesome.
Yay.